What up YouTube? My name is Marvin and today I'm gonna give you some tips to make you a better bass player. Now we're gonna jump right in. These are in no particular order. Sorry, I don't remember what number one is. My first tip, get your bass professionally set up. Now I get it, we're all musicians, we don't got money, but yeah, see if you can scrounge around a couple dollars and get a professional bass setup. If you really don't have any money, look on YouTube and learn how to set it up yourself. Getting a professional setup will just make a world of a difference for you as a bass player, especially when you're playing live or when you're recording. Intonation, for example, which is basically where the notes sit on the fretboard, having that set up correctly will just make all of your playing more accurate. The notes will actually be heard correctly. Even things like your string height, your pickup height, the truss rod adjustment on your bass. All these little things make a huge difference and they can make or break the way that you play and the way that you hear yourself and just your overall comfort and just ability as a bass player. That's my very first thing. Get your bass set up. I know it costs money. If you don't got money, spend some time on YouTube, figure it out, try it out on a cheap bass just so you don't mess up your expensive ones, if anything, but get your bass set up. My second tip is to get familiar with the controls on your actual bass. For example, this beautiful Ibanez SR2EX2, as you can see, it has 4 bass knobs. So everyone's bass is different. In the case of this Ibanez, this is volume, balancer, bass boost and cut for the EQ, and treble boost and cut for the EQ. Some basses might have 5 knobs, some might have 1 knob, some might have 2 knobs, volume and tone, whatever. In everybody's case, it's going to be different, but try to familiarize yourself with exactly what it does. And play around with those controls. See exactly how your bass and treble knob actually affects your sound. Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Try it in different scenarios. See what your tone knob does. You could even mess around with the volume knob. Instead of having it all the way up, put it halfway up and see how that changes your sound. Try all of that, play around with your controls, and see what you can get out of your bass. You'd be surprised what your bass will offer you even with just 2 controls or 5 controls. You'd be very surprised with what it can do. My next tip, broaden your musical spectrum. Let's say you're a metal bass player and you only listen to metal-oriented music. Try listening to something different for a change. You'd be surprised how it can change the way that you play and just overall what you see in bass. For example, I recently started listening more to pop music and like things that you'd hear on the radio. And that's usually the complete opposite of what I like. But when you pay attention to the bass in a lot of pop songs, it's actually really cool. It's given me a lot of inspiration to try different things I wouldn't normally do in a metal context. I would say that if you're like doing one genre, try and listen to a genre that you don't really like. Even if you don't like the music, try to listen for the bass and see if you can figure out what they're doing, if that makes sense. Like, just open your ears and open your mind to more than what you're normally doing on bass. You'll find that it may help you just to have a different viewpoint in how you approach bass, how you listen for bass, how you write things for bass. Just listen to something different than what you'd normally listen to. That's basically all I'm saying, and you'll find that it might help you overall as a bass player. Another tip I have, which is more involved in your playing, learn proper muting. Oh man, I can't tell you, I've seen so many bassists that can slay it on bass, but their muting is trash. It's just messy. If you don't know what I mean, it's when, while you're playing, if you're hitting one of the strings, even if you're only using one string, the rest of the strings will start ringing out. It's called sympathetic vibration. Yeah, maybe you can't hear it in the room. Maybe you can't hear it in your amp that you're using in the room, but you'll hear it when you're playing live or when you're practicing with a band. And if you don't notice it, train your ears because it's there. And it sounds bad. It is something that is really annoying. Teaching yourself how to mute the bass correctly while playing, which is also a challenge, but it's very rewarding when you do it correctly because your mixes sound cleaner. Live, you sound cleaner and better, and people can actually hear you better. Instead of you just being a wall of sound, you actually sound like you, and they can hear what you're doing and appreciate you more as a bass player. You know, us bass players don't get that much appreciation, even though we're the most important part of the band, you know. Anywho, learn proper muting. You'll thank me later. And if you want me to make a video on how to properly mute or how I properly mute, since I'm not a professional, let me know in the comments and I will definitely see if I can get that done. Or maybe I already did it. Who knows? And that actually leads into my final point, practice. Everybody hates hearing this. I get it. Practice, practice, practice. Yeah, I get it. You have to practice. But a lot of people really don't get it. Most people, when they start playing an instrument, they're so enamored, they're so excited that they're just willing to practice because it's something new, and they put in hours and hours and hours in the beginning. Once they start seeing some kind of progression, they usually start learning the songs that they like, or phrases, or whatever it is they want to learn, and they stop practicing. And when I say practice, I mean work on things that you don't know or things that you suck at, because nobody is the best. You can have world-class players and they still practice because they know they need to, not because they really want to. I mean, I guess, yeah, you should want to practice, but you get what I mean. If you want to improve, you have to practice the things that you don't know. And yes, practice the things you know, get them down to a T so you can play it while jumping off the stage at your local gig. But you also want to be able to learn things that you're not good at. And that's what it is. It's hard, it's annoying. We all just want to play and appreciate what we know that we can play and have people appreciate that. But you got to take those steps that you took in the beginning and keep going at it. Even if you're getting good, great, you're a professional, practice is the core. Like, you have to practice not just the stuff you know, but the stuff you don't know, and try to get better at it. Like, really, really put some effort in, and it'll just make you an overall better bass player. And that's it. I didn't mean to go deep into all details and everything, but this is just something I've been wanting to do for a while, to give other bassists out there just some kind of, I don't know, just some ideas on how to improve as a bass player. Yes, there's a lot of tips and things online, but I just wanted to give my 2 cents. Like I said, I'm not a professional, but I've gigged, I've recorded, I've done what I guess most professionals do. So maybe I am a professional? I don't know music theory though. I don't know, whatever. But I just wanted to give my advice, and I really do hope that it helps. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any other tips that you use or that you'd recommend or whatever to make other people better bass players, or myself, because I have to work on things myself, you know, just like you guys. Anywho, thanks for checking out this video. If you liked it, feel free to subscribe for more content. And that's it. I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe and have a great day.